Call the planning zone meeting to order. Stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Have a roll call. John Matthews is going to be absent. Terry Bukowski is going to be absent. Mark Denny.
Here.
Alex DeMauro, absent. Will Smith.
Here.
Rocky Hempel.
Here.
Jeanette Holloman.
Yeah.
Jeff Spink, absent. And I'm present, Stephen Rosenthal. We have 5 members present, which is plenty. Due to phone problems, we were not able to get some of the other ones who were going to join us by phone, but technical difficulties eliminated that. Do I have a motion on the minutes from last month? Or actually, it's what, March minutes? Yeah, March.
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes from March.
I'll second it.
March 11th. Motion on the floor to approve the March minutes as written. Any discussion? Roll call vote of members present. Mark Denny.
Yes.
Will Smith.
Yes.
Rocky Hempel.
Yes.
Jeanette Holdeman.
Yes.
And I vote yes. Motion carries 5-0. Okay, Secretary's report.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. Obviously, we have 5 members present, so we do have a forum. We are going to conduct this meeting a little bit differently. The applicants will call in throughout the cases, as we've been through this, just to let the public who will be watching know that's how we'll be handling this. We did give folks an opportunity for public comment. They needed to register with us by Monday afternoon. We didn't have anybody request to be part of the public comment, so there will be effectively no public comment today. There's nobody requested. We did receive some letters which I emailed to you all yesterday regarding case number PE-20-026. So you should all have those, and that's all the correspondence that we've received regarding those. We do have a couple of cases which have been continued. Case item B has been continued to June 10th. Let's see. Case D has been withdrawn simply because that will not be before the commission. And case E has also been continued, and that's been continued to the July 8th meeting. Speaking of the July 8th meeting, we have a conflict of interest. We will be having a Warren County Commission meeting July 8th, so I am requesting that the Planning Commission be willing to move our Planning Commission meeting to either July 9th or July 15th. July 9th would obviously be Thursday. July 15th would be Wednesday, 1 week later than we have our meeting. How does that sound?
I'll go for the 15th.
I'm sure it's fine. It's a long ways off yet, so I'll
Yeah.
check the calendar, but I'm sure it's going to be fine with me.
Okay. We want to move to the 15th then, so that'd be easiest to keep it on a Wednesday.
I think we want to keep it on a Wednesday.
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so we will move our July 8th meeting to July 15th. We'll make sure to let our applicants know. I appreciate that very, very much. Commissioners, that is all that I have. And get started with this meeting.
Okay. Motion for the agenda. 1 item is on the consent agenda. 3 items have either been postponed or removed. And the rest we will hear today. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve the consent agenda and the agenda.
Rocky made the motion.
I'll second that.
Wolf seconded. Okay. Is there any discussion?
Mr. Chairman, I just have a quick question on this. It's talking on the front page, it says the comprehensive plan, this parcel was in the agricultural preservation land category. Do we know if it will be in the new comprehensive plan?
I don't know off the top of my head. Are you talking about for Eagle Crossing?
Yeah.
I don't believe that it will be, but I don't know that for sure. But I don't think that it is.
Yeah, I'm thinking that we're going to expand the opportunities rather than keep them narrow. Okay, thank you. That's all I had.
Okay. Any other discussion on the agenda? Not have a roll call vote. Members present, Mark Denny,
Yes.
Will Smith,
Yes.
Rocky Hempel,
Yes.
Jeanette Holdeman.
Yes.
And I vote yes. Motion carries 5-0. All right. Item number 1 is case number DEV 20-045. Consideration of a preliminary plat for the Oaks, a 12-lot plat on a tract of land in the southeast quarter of Section 6, Township 12, Range 22 east of the 6 p.m. in Leavenworth County, Kansas, also known as 18261 Linwood Road, Linwood, Kansas. Request submitted by Herring Survey. This is not a public hearing item. Staff report.
Good evening, Commissioners. Before us, we have case number DEV 20-045, preliminary plat for a 12-lot subdivision for the Oaks. This is in RR 2.5 zoning, not within a urban growth management area. This parcel is in the rural residential land use category. The lots in this preliminary plat comply with the zoning and subdivision regulations for lot area, size, and frontage. You'll see that lot 4 is irregularly shaped. That's to account for the ponds that don't split between property lines. And you can see there's a driveway. Do it closely to kind of make it difficult. Spanning from lot 2 to lot 4. That is from a prior home that was restored in this tornado last year on May 28th. That driveway has a condition attached to it, I believe, condition 6. That only is right access to lot 2. Conditions 4 and 3. The flats, you can see a list of where the flats front on each of these three streets. You can see the triangle. Except one of these is incorrect. Lot 8 will access Cantrell Road rather than Highway 32. Staff recommends approval subject to conditions. Applicants are available on the phone if you have any questions.
Okay. Do we have any questions? Staff? Okay, does the applicant wish to speak?
I don't know if we're connected. They will be available on the phone if we have any questions. What is that?
She's on the phone.
Right now.
Pretty weird shaped lot.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah.
The triangular parcel.
Mhm.
I went down and visited, and it was right in front of the auction barn down there on Linwood, and it is a triangle shape. Both roads, to me, looked ideal. They were, at the very best, probably a quarter, 3/8 of a mile off the highway for 182nd, and 182nd goes all the way to the point. And then kind of trail that comes across. And then across the road also, there was a tornado damaged house also, right across the road on 182nd. I seen a gentleman out there working there. And there was debris from the tornado up there by Cantrell. You could tell there was still debris up at that one end on Cantrell and 32.
Since we have some extra time on those, that lot 1 and a part of lot 2 are in B3 zoning, but rural residences are still not there.
I am here.
It's time for you. Go ahead.
All right, Joe. So Jared just gave a staff report. I'm not sure if you were able to watch that or not. We recommended approval, as you know, you have the staff report. Do you have anything to add?
No, I did hear some of the staff report on YouTube, some discussion of the irregular shaped lot. Tried to meet the terrain and the pond configuration that already exists. So I believe we're good with all recommendations on the plat.
Okay. Anything else, Joe?
No, good to see you guys back in session.
Yeah. Wish we could see you too. Maybe next time.
That's it, next time.
Okay. Any questions of applicant?
No.
Thanks, Joe.
Thank you, have a good evening.
You too. Any additional information to be presented?
No, sir.
Okay. Are there any questions or comments, commissioners? I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move that the proposed preliminary plat as outlined in case DEV 20-045 be approved, that the findings that set forth staff report adopted by the Planning Commission and substantiated by the facts, testimony, and evidence presented be adopted by this board, and that the conditions set forth in staff report be made part of this preliminary plat.
I'll second.
Okay. Motion second. The motion on the floor is second to approve case number DEV 20-045, preliminary plat of the Oak subdivision. Is there any further discussion? None. Have a roll call vote. Mark Denny,
Yes.
Will Smith,
Yes.
Rocky Hempel,
Yes.
Jeanette Holloman,
Yes.
and I vote yes. Motion carries 5-0. The Board of County Commissioners will consider this item at 9 a.m. on June 10th, 2020 at the Leavenworth County Courthouse.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Case number DEV-20-026, consideration application for a special use permit for agribusiness for Z&M Twisted Vines in the south half of the northwest quarter of Section 13, Township 12 South, Range 20 East of the 6 p.m. in Leavenworth County, Kansas, also known as 24305 Lowering Road, Lawrence, Kansas. Request submitted by Byron and Gina Zigner. This does require a public hearing. Public comment portions limited to 3 minutes per person. Staff report.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. This is case number DEV-20-026. This is a request for a special use permit for an agribusiness. Mr. and Mrs. Ziger, I always mispronounce that. I'm sorry for anything. Are requesting this special use permit not for the winery, which is taking place on their property. The winery in and of itself does not require a special use permit. They are cultivating their own grapes, making their own wine. They'll be selling that wine. They have their license and all of those things that they need through the state and the federal government. So like I said, they don't need a permit for that from the county. What they do need a permit for is the event center that is going along with the winery request. Or sorry, not the request for the winery. They are anticipating having weddings, family reunions. They may have small concerts out there, which will be like instrumental classical music, not big, loud concerts, very small gatherings. They are anticipating being open, I believe, only Thursday through Sunday in the beginning. As you'll notice, though, we did, in the conditions, allow for 7-day-a-week operation as they grow. So I'm going to quickly go through the factors to be considered. The character of the neighborhood, this area is primarily rural in nature, and agribusiness, winery, those sorts of things are very typical that you would find rural neighborhood, zoning and uses of nearby property. The area is all zoned as rural residential 5, which is what this property is also zoned. There are a few parcels of land that are approximately 5 acres in size. However, the vast majority of properties out of this area are very large parcels that have agricultural activity on them. Suitability of the property for the uses to which it's been restricted. It's in an area that's suited for rural residences and rural uses. The proposed use is allowed with approval of special use permit. And again, just the size of the property makes it suitable for that area, given the property itself is 90 acres in size. Extent to which removal restrictions will detrimentally affect nearby property. The nearby areas are not likely to be overly detrimentally impacted. There will, of course, be an increase in traffic, especially on the weekends whenever there may be a wedding and such. However, this won't be a constant sort of coming and going. It will be very similar to all of the other event centers that we have in the county. During the spring and summer, we'll have weddings. They'll primarily be held on Saturdays. Length of time the property has been vacant zone. It's not vacant. There is a small home. We're not aware if it's been when the last time it was lived in. The property has been being used for agricultural purposes for a very long time. Relative gain to the economic development, public health, safety, and welfare. The proposed use will obviously create income for the applicant. It will also generate sales tax for the county. Conformance to the comprehensive plan. The future land use map cites this area as being agricultural preserve. Vineyards are certainly a way to preserve agriculture. And staff recommendation is for the approval of special use permit with conditions. A couple of things that I do want to note is the location is near 238th and Loring Road. This section of Loring Road is gravel road. The county is currently set to pave Loring Road from 222nd Street to 238th Street. This property is just west. It's about a quarter mile, half mile west of 238th Street. So the applicants they have applied for the gravel road dust control program, which states that if they pave up to an area of already paved surface, that the county will take over maintenance of that. The applicants will be required to pay for the upfront initial installation, which they are aware of. The policy states that they can have 5-year financing. The applicants have requested 10 years of financing. Staff cannot make that recommendation because it goes against the policy. Staff does support their request for the 5-year financing and to pave this section of road. We think that would be certainly a benefit to the community, and it would cut down dramatically on the dust in the area, especially when they have those weddings and things such as that. Staff is supportive of the overall request and recommends approval of subject to conditions. I believe they are on the line. We'll answer any questions you may have as
Crystal, how long is that road? How long is it that what kind of distance are we talking about?
From 238th Street to their driveway?
Yeah,
I think it's about a third of a mile.
third of a mile.
Yeah. It's somewhere between us.
It's a fair amount.
Yeah.
Okay. Any questions of staff this time? Okay, upon opening the public comment portion of this hearing, those of you who wish to speak either for or against this item upon recognition will give your name and address each time you begin to speak. This is necessary since the public hearing is being recorded. For the applicant, please speak. I can't come forward there. Please speak. Please state your name and address.
Ryan, are you there?
Hi, this is Brian and Gina Zestiger. So, we're 24305 Loring Road, Board Kansas 66044.
Okay. Go ahead. Do you have anything to add above the staff report?
I think we heard everything. I think everything's right. The only thing we'd like to add is we really hope that the county commissioners will think about extending that payment. It's just better we know that we're going to add traffic, but if we can pave that road and do it over a 10-year period instead of a 5-year period.
Yeah, over time, I think
all of neighbors and just easy to get to the location for services. I think people would enjoy that as well.
And it would tie in well with what's currently going to happen on Lawrence Road.
Okay. Do you have anything else to add?
I hope to be a good steward and a good business for Leavenworth County.
We operate in the downtown area already of downtown Leavenworth, and so we are just, extending that out into the county further on our vineyard. And I think it will bring customers to the other side of the county who have already taken a liking to us and will follow us for some outdoor kinds of activities as well.
Okay. There's 12 recommendations on the staff report. Have you seen those recommendations?
I'm sorry, can you say that one more time?
There are 12 recommendations that the staff we're requiring from you to honor on this special use permit. Have you seen the 12 recommendations?
Yes, sir. I believe that was all in the email. Some things have changed since we submitted, as we are not going to be building. We had originally planned on building a 6,000 square foot wine and event tasting room. That has changed because of the coronavirus or COVID-19. That loan was not going through, and so we are scaling everything back, and we will only be utilizing the buildings that currently exist on the property. So some of that, I think, has changed from what originally was suggested.
Okay. So will that count cut down on the number of visitors you expect?
Yeah, I mean,
I think so. I mean, we don't know. We really don't know. We would like to have a steady flow of events, but we're
in the middle of COVID like everybody else is trying to open, and also we do at the same time. So without such a large facility, we'll be counting more so on outdoor events and small, more intimate kinds of things inside buildings already on the property.
I am renovating a old dairy barn, which is like 3,000 square feet. As people like historical buildings, and it was built around 1880. But that's what we have to offer is just open spaces and some wine. We really don't have a big facility, much like maybe some of the other event centers in the Leavenworth County area.
Okay.
As time goes on, that might be something that we're able to continue with, going back to Plan A. But since we're on to Plan B, making the best of a tough situation for everyone.
Well, unfortunately, I think a lot of people are in that situation right now. So, is there anything else you want to add?
I don't think so, not this time.
Okay. You guys, anybody here have any questions?
Yeah, I do. What type of events are you looking to have? Can you just kind of describe the nature of the events?
The two types of events that we hope we can have are weddings. That is a popular event. We've had some interest in that, even though we don't have a big facility.
Doing some outdoor weddings where they would potentially bring in a tent and have a reception as an outdoor in a tent facility.
And then the other thing that we would like to hope to do is some volleyball, outdoor volleyball, sand volleyball, and grass volleyball.
We'd like to attract families to come out and enjoy our vineyard space, the beautiful area, and looking into the vines. The lake is on the property, and just getting people out there to kind of do some family gatherings and things like that is what we hope to have.
Okay.
primarily right now, I would say weddings. We had offered the state to potentially do some donations of prom.
Yeah, we talked to a couple of the neighboring school districts, their superintendents and building principals, and just, I come from the education background, and, you know, the kids, high school kids missed all of their fun for the season, and so we had offered to them use of our land for them to host, you know, meet up at the school, bring over a bus of the kids and their chaperones from the school and use the outdoor space. We have not received any confirmation that any of them are going to or would like to host a prom type event with their chaperones on an outdoor space, but we did offer that as a donation at no cost to the school district.
And I'm a retired military officer, so I expect and will try to work with both Fort Leavenworth and the National Guard to host MWR events for any type of military family day.
We are a MWR sponsor on Fort Leavenworth, and so we do go on posts and help out whenever we can. So we'd like to draw those families out to the southern Leavenworth County as well.
Right. Out to our area. Yeah. Does that answer your question, sir?
Yeah, thank you. My other question is, have you had any discussions with any of your neighbors as far as what you plan on doing there?
Actually, we have.
Met almost all of them face to face and had.
They don't believe. It was hard for them to understand that we are volunteering to pave that road and the cost that would happen. And when we have some older neighbors that we have had
helped out and worked together. I mean, we've met everyone. We've not come across anyone that has had concerns. They were all actually pretty excited to have something.
Well, they did. It's something new, and I understand that they don't want it to change the environment out there. But they were concerned about, and rightfully so, is the dust.
Yeah.
And
you know, and that's what our offer is. We understand, even as residents ourselves, dust on your cars and on your houses, people are driving and increased traffic. So part of our offer to do that is because it would be a benefit to everyone in our community. Obviously, it's costly, and that's why we're asking for the extension. We want to still do it, but as a new business going through a startup right now, unknown.
Right now, even the 10-year is difficult, but
we still have a plan for the future.
Yeah, we need to plan for the future, and this won't be with us forever. So that's our plan. Some of our neighbors have already come over and had some wine, and we were talking with several of them on Facebook. So. I think it'd be a positive experience. And if there is anything negative, I want to be open enough with our neighbors and know most of them that, hey, what can we do to alleviate that? Any issues or concerns?
Okay. You okay, Mark?
Yep, thank you.
Anybody else have any questions?
Yes, I do. I'm just changing horses now because I'm reading here that the original idea was to have 250 to 300 guests for larger venues. Am I hearing correctly that that is off the table now completely at this point?
Ma'am, I think what you just said was 250 to 300 guests is what we expected for an event. We just won't have the building. We still have the 87 acres, almost 90 acres. It would be more outdoor event style, but we potentially will eventually get to some events that are in that range.
Okay. My other question, I'm sorry, my other question is about your engineered wastewater treatment. Do you have like a hoot system or something that utilizes the water, or just septic systems?
But that was for the big building. That was one of the specific
Okay.
stuff. We are no longer building that.
So that's not happening.
6,000. It was a big building that we have a pond that sits next to it that we just needed a septic system from everybody that I've talked to. I don't know that it needs to be engineered.
Okay.
Well, they're all engineered.
Yeah, Commissioner, a couple of points about that. One, if it's a commercial use, it's required to be an engineered septic system. That's a requirement by KDHE that obviously the county supports. I will say, Brian and Gina, this information about, I understand not being able to build the building at this time and completely understanding of that. However, this is the first that staff has heard that the building was not going to be built. We were under the impression that weddings, receptions specifically, it's not the wedding being outside. Weddings are not typically very loud. However, receptions can be loud, and we were under the assumption that those were going to take place inside of the building. I feel the staff maybe needs time to go back and re-review this, and that we need to have some additional conversations, Brian and Gina.
Something will eventually be built, but we're not there with the current situation with COVID. So, I mean, at this point, we couldn't host a wedding anyway because of the numbers of guests that's allowable. You know what I'm saying? So we have to monitor and adjust our plans, but our ultimate vision is to be able to host those indoors, yes.
Right, but are you proposing to host like the receptions and such currently outside?
I mean, if they want to have them outside, I'm not going to say no to it.
Don't know that would bring any more noise. I mean, it's 87 acres, so maybe there's some
Yeah,
music, but
if we're discussing noise as we sit on I-70,
yeah, I mean,
yeah, and our nearest neighbor is a half mile away, we can have further discussions. But yeah, if they want to do reception outside, yes, absolutely, we're going to
I mean,
incorporate
that would be a way for us to make up some money to continue our further plans. But
so if you want to, what do you want to do?
Yeah, so I think we would need to amend the site plan, and I understand that it's a large parcel, and certainly supportive of that. But I think that if we're going to have outdoor receptions, that right now we're taking them located on the site plan, it shows them being fairly near the property line. Commissioners, correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like if we're going to have outdoor events, we would want those to be more centralized on the property so that you have a greater distance between you and your neighbors and such.
Why don't we just put a decimal reading on
you
at
can
the property line?
identify some spaces on the property. So.
Why we just add
If that becomes an issue, I mean,
And the permits for over a period of time, correct?
if we're talking about noise abatement or noise issues in this large of an area, are we having the same issues with all the other events that have outdoor music?
Event centers that
That
have,
are quarter time?
Uh,
I think we need an amended site plan, commissioners.
amended site plan, or how about just putting a decimal reading at the property line, like we do on a lot of the other things that create noise?
That's an option, it's difficult to enforce, the decibels.
Well, it wouldn't be if the neighbors are complaining that the noise, then we can go out there and have it checked.
Yeah, but then we've already approved them having it wherever they want to put it. I'm I'm a bit concerned because, like I said, I like to know what I'm looking at. And I am concerned that what happens in 5 years? I mean, if we approve this as is basically, then in 5 years maybe this huge building will go up. I mean, they don't have to come back, do they?
Right, yeah, so.
Yeah, so I don't feel comfortable.
The original proposal was for the building, and staff was
Yeah.
supportive,
Yeah.
and staff was supportive of this request.
Yes.
It seems there's been a material change.
Right.
Yeah.
That staff just wasn't aware of until now. And I'm not saying that we're not still supportive of it, but I would
Right.
want an updated site plan
Yes.
showing that these outdoor events are not going to be at the property.
Well,
Yes.
the proposal was for 10 years, right? Recommendation for 10 years. And I don't see anywhere in here where it says they have to start building within 6 months.
No.
And I don't think we ever have that I'm aware of. So if they have the site plan, 10 years is a relatively long time. So, a lot can change, as we all know, in several months, let alone a couple of years. So 2 to 3 years, hopefully this whole thing calms down, blows over, and they're on down the road. They still have 7 years left on their special use permit.
Right. Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. Again, for the outdoor reception, I
Okay,
think.
so we could not the host one for a short period of time, if that's concerned, but we're.
No, but please retract that. We're not, we'd like the full, opportunity to host anything outside, whether it's a wedding, whether it's volleyball, whether it's reception. If we want to measure noise, we can put a noise meter out there on our property boundaries and measure the sounds. That would be fine.
Well, that would be a concern. Noise level is concern. It's on concern on all special use permits, and we do a lot of times put restrictions on, 60 decibels at the property line. And I don't see why we couldn't put that on this, and I think that's going to make them put it at a location where that will be effective then. That's my thought. What do you guys think?
It's what we've done before with almost any type of
Right.
outdoor facility.
Okay. Would that be something you could live with?
My wife's saying yes. I'm sorry, it's hard to hear.
Okay. Yeah, this isn't the best situation, so.
Yeah, so Brian, what he's suggesting a condition that states that the decibels shall not exceed 60 at the property line, which is a typical condition that we have in the past used for these types of events. He's asking
Sure.
to add that.
Sure. Fine. I'd love to hear what the 18-wheelers, sometimes when they get loud going through I-70, they might register 60 decibels. So yes, sure, we're good with that.
Okay. Well, we'll see as we go along here. That would add another condition. That would be that the 13th condition then that would be added on to that. So as we continue on with the hearing, then it's something we consider. Is there anything else you want to add, or is there any other questions, commissioners?
The question I have, and this is Commissioner Hempel, if you have outside events, will it be back towards the backside of the property, or whereabouts as far as the map that we had, where will those events be held?
I believe on the map you might have, there's a sketch where a old barn is. So either by the old barn or lakeside along the pond, or what we call the lake. So both of those positions are furthest away from neighbors. But sooner or generally speaking, be next to the pond or lake or down by the old barn if you have the aerial map.
Yeah, we do have a map before us that shows the existing barns and the existing garage. Which would be way toward the back. Thank you very much, sir.
Any other questions of the applicant?
I have one more. On your hours of operation on Friday and Saturday, you have 12 p.m. to 10 p.m. I've been to quite a few weddings and wedding receptions. Most of them still going pretty strong at 10 p.m. Are most of your events going to be afternoon type things, early evening? Because if you go past, to 10:30 and then you have complaints, you're in violation of your special use permit.
We kind of like to keep it at 10 o'clock. If there's a change to it, we can obviously come back to all this. We really would prefer this to be more low-key than having raging parties or
That's not what ours is.
this is a reflection of who Gina and I are. Have your wedding, have a reception, enjoy the space, but, after the wedding and after your reception, it's time to go.
Okay, fair enough. I just want to make sure you both understand that on that time.
Okay. Any other questions of the applicant? All right, we'll continue on. I don't need to read all this on the new policy. Do I have to read that? Okay. We have received, it's time to ask if anyone's in favor or against this proposal. You've asked people to call in. Nobody has called in. Or nobody asked to be called, I should say, or call in. We did have several letters and one small petition that was signed by several people. Did all of you receive that and had a chance to review and read all the letters?
Yes.
Yes, Chairman.
Okay. Did you? Okay. Is there any additional information to be presented?
No, sir.
Okay, the public comment portion of this hearing is now closed. Are there any questions or comments, commissioners?
Crystal, in a couple of the letters, they were referring to the 2020 comprehensive plan, which hasn't been passed. Yeah, right. So, I kind of get what they're going. I guess it's more of a side question is, why is that? Why are people confused by that? It seems to me there's some confusion out there as to we're not under that yet.
Right. Well, I think that people are understandably they want to make their point, and they feel that this should be a rural area, which it is. And again, even under the proposed new comprehensive plan, this is an agricultural type use. It's something that you all know the state of Kansas is quite supportive of. Lonoke County has been supportive of. So even if the comprehensive plan, the 2020 comprehensive plan, had been approved, staff would still be recommending approval of this because staff feels that this request is in line with agricultural and rural preservation.
Well, the events aren't.
The use of agricultural ground to have an agricultural type of experience, the state of Kansas has determined is very much an agribusiness.
I don't know if a wedding would be considered that, but a cultural experience, but,
Again, the use of the ground for
okay. All right, any other questions or comments?
Mr. Chairman, I'd just like to add, I went down and visited the site, and I believe you'll have a hard time distinguishing the sound between the turnpike and any event that goes in that center. I believe there's ample room all the way around. And I think it's an acceptable special use permit under the terms and conditions. The roads are covered, and the fact that they're covered under the staff report and that, and if that don't go through, well, this thing don't go through. So I think all the terms and conditions that are set forth, all the golden factors, I believe this should go through.
Yeah, and I'd like to add, I've been to their downtown location several times over the last 2 years, and so they have a little bit of a track record within Leavenworth County as to what they're doing. And from all appearances, from my judgment, it's a very well-run business, and it's been a good addition to downtown, in my opinion. So we do have a lot of these. We have no track record. It's just kind of blind faith. But in this one, in my opinion, they're running a good business, and that speaks well of what they could do out here, I think.
I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move that the proposed special use permit is outlined in case DEV 20-026 be approved, that the findings on the golden factors as set forth in staff report as adopted by the Planning Commission and substantiated by the facts, testimony, evidence presented be adopted by this board, and that the conditions set forth in staff report be made part of this special use permit.
Did you want to add anything about the decimals sound?
I do not.
We have a motion on the floor with do I have a second?
I'd second if you added the decibel levels.
I personally don't believe you can distinguish the decibel between I-70 sitting there and where the venue's going to be.
Well, but you add, if that's so noisy, you add the venue on top of it, you're asking for a lot of noise then. If that is the case, then I think you're asking for, if you would, you've got too much noise already, then you add more noise, I think that would be worse. So, again, I have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second? Motion dies for lack of a second. Have another motion.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion that we approve case number DEV-20-030 as it meets the golden factors as outlined with the, I believe it is 12 recommendations as set forth by staff, and then adding number 13, that the decibel level not exceed 60 at the property lines. And I'm with you on that, Rocky, but I mean, we almost, every other one, we ask for that, so I think we need to try to be as fair and equitable across the board. Plus, it gives the neighbors some level of comfort in there that, we're trying to look out for them too. So I think we should add that.
I'll second that one.
Second. A motion on the floor with a second to approve case number DEV 20-026, special use permit for agribusiness for Z&M Twisted Vines with staff recommendations, but adding a 13th as a sound decimal level at the property lines not to exceed 60 decibels. Is there any further discussion?
Mr. Chairman, I think I may have made a mistake. It should be DEV-20-026. I think you may have said 20-030. So my apologies on that number.
It is 20-026. Everybody understand the motion?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, roll call vote. Mark Danny.
Yes.
Will Smith.
Yes.
Rocky Hempel.
Yes.
Jeanette Holloman.
No. I really enjoy wineries, and I wish them a lot of luck, but I feel uncomfortable at the moment voting on something actually different than we were given. Because even if it's a 5 or a 10-year special user permit, I mean, a lot of things can happen in that time, and I just don't feel comfortable. I'm sorry.
Okay, that's fine. And I'll vote yes. Motion carries 4-1. The Board of County Commissioners will consider this item on June 10th at 9 a.m. at the Leavenworth County Courthouse. Any person wishing to file a protest petition must contact the Planning and Zoning Office. Protest petitions must be filed with Leavenworth County within 2 weeks of this meeting. To be valid, the protest petitions must be signed by 20% of the land area in the notification area. Good luck to you, and on June 10th at 9 a.m. is when they're going to consider this. The Board of County Commissioners. Okay, we're adjourned from Planning Commission, and we are now opening up the Board of Zoning Appeals. Have a roll call. Mark Denny. Here. Will Smith.
Here.
Rocky Hempel.
Here.
Jana Holdeman.
Yeah.
And I'm present. There are 5 members present. Okay. Case number DV 20-030. Consideration application of a variance for Leavenworth County zoning and subdivision regulations on Article 5, Section 4, which requires a minimum square footage of 300 feet on a tract of land in the northwest quarter of Section 25, Township 7 South, Range 21 East of the 6 p.m., Leavenworth County, Kansas, also known as 187th Street, Easton, Kansas. Request submitted by Ryan and Nicole Poole. This does require a public hearing. Staff report.
Hi, Commissioners. Before us, we have case number DEP 20-030, a variance for minimum required road frontage. On January 30th, 2020, staff completed deed research and determined that this property did not comply with Leavenworth County zoning and subdivision regulations, was not a buildable parcel, non-compliant, non-compatible building permit. There was a home on this property previously until it burned down in approximately 1990. The parcel originally made up the entirety of the northwest quarter of the section. Even at that time, with that additional land, 195th Street still did not front the property. Access to the property has been provided since at least 1954 via a shared driveway cutting across an adjacent parcel to the north in Atchison County. You can see evidence of that via the ortho photo that is, I think, the second exhibit in your packets. That adjoining parcel in the north in Atchison County is now owned by the applicant's father. The applicant possesses a perpetual access easement for continued use of this driveway. And I'll go through the factors. The variance requested arises from such condition which is unique and which is not rarely found in the same building's classification and is created by the zoning regulations and not by an action or actions of the property owner or the applicant. The property has been landlocked without road frontage since its creation. The applicant's father originally received this parcel from the Leavenworth County Sheriff's Department in 1989. There was a home on it, like I said, until 1990. The applicant took no action to create the conditions rendering this parcel non-compliant. The granting of the variance will not adversely affect the rights of adjacent property owners or residents. The applicant is seeking this variance with the intention of obtaining building permits in the future. The granting of this variance will allow one single-family home to be constructed on this 110-acre parcel. The area is designated as rural residential 2.5 acre zoning. Granting of this variance will not adversely impact the intent of the zoning regulations or the rights of adjacent property owners or residents. Strict application. So, strict application of the provisions of the zoning regulations of which variance is requested will constitute unnecessary hardship upon the property owner. Representing the application. The strict application of the zoning regulations would result in the applicant being unable to obtain building permits and return this to being a single-family residential parcel. The variance desired will not adversely affect the public health, safety, morals, order, convenience, prosperity, or general welfare of the surrounding community. This will not do that. Granting the variance desired will not be opposed to the general spirit and intent of the zoning regulations. The granting of this variance will allow single-family homes to be built on the parcel, as I said. This conforms with the surrounding uses and the future land use map. The parcel was established over 70 years ago and has functioned as a residential home for 40 years before it burned down. Granting the variance will allow the parcel to continue functioning as a single-family residence. It is not opposed to the general spirit and intent of the zoning regulations. Staff's main concern when meeting with the Poles originally regarded access to the property, obviously. While the current property owners, which are father and son, would be comfortably informally continuing the access arrangement as it has existed for the past 70 years, it would not guarantee future landowners access to the roadway. We therefore recommended obtaining a perpetual easement across the father's parcel. The Poles understood and promptly obtained said easement. They are available on the phone to answer any questions you may have. That will be.
Okay, any questions of staff? Okay, upon opening the public comment portion of this hearing, those of you who wish to speak either for or against this item upon recognition will give your name and address each time you begin to speak. This is necessary since the public hearing is being recorded. The public comment portion of this hearing is now open. Will the applicant please speak, name, address, please?
Ryan and Noel Cole, 180 Wichita Road, Atchison, Kansas, 66002.
Okay, do you have anything to add?
No, I think Jared covered it. We can read our little paragraph we typed up, the hardship letter.
I'd like to read. The Board of Zoning Appeals, we are requesting this variance appeal as we would like to build our dream home. We currently do not meet all of the county requirements. The property is landlocked in Leavenworth County, and we do not meet the road frontage requirement. However, my father owns the adjacent property in Atchison County where we share a driveway. I also have a perpetual easement for use of this driveway. The property currently has electrical and water heaters. There was a home on this property that caught fire approximately 1990. The property has since been harm use only. If variance approval is denied, we would be forced to build in Atchison County, which is not our first choice. I have enjoyed this property ever since my dad purchased it when I was a young child. Thank you for your time and consideration on this matter. Ryan and Noel Cole.
Okay. You have anything else to add?
I think that's it.
Okay. Any commissioners, you have anything to ask of the applicants? All right, thank you. We'll continue on. Again, everybody had a chance to, who would be for or against this item, had a chance to call in, and nobody asked to be called or wishing to call in for this. Okay, and we didn't receive any communication outside of that either, any letters or anything else. Okay? Is there any additional information to be presented? The public comment portion of this hearing is now closed. Are there any questions or comments, commissioners? Now I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move that the proposed variance as outlined in case DEV 20-030 be approved, that the findings of the golden factors as set forth in staff report as adopted by the Planning Commission and substantiated by facts, testimony, and evidence presented be adopted by this board, and that conditions set forth in the staff report be made part of this variance.
I'll second that.
We have a motion on the floor and a second to approve case number DEV 20-030, variance of the Leavenworth County zoning and subdivision regulations for the property in northwest quarter of Section 25, Township 7 South, Range 21 East, 6 p.m. Do want to remind you all that this is the final decision. This does not go to the county commissioners. Our decision tonight is final. And with that, I'll entertain, got a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
I believe I read the motion.
Yes, we got a
Okay.
motion on the floor.
Okay, I'm sorry, I
And I just
misunderstood
wanted
you
to
then.
remind you as part of the discussion that
Okay.
this does not go to the county commissioners. We are
Okay.
the decision makers in this. So,
I apologize.
a roll call vote of members present. Mark Denny,
Yes.
Will Smith,
Yes.
Rocky Hempel,
Yes,
Jeanette Holloman,
Yes.
and I vote yes. Motion carries 5-0. It's done. Thank you. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Anything else?